Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to apply shaders to a live camera preview using CameraX, and we will be using BaseGlShaderProgram in native Android application to apply those shaders, and we will be using some media 3 effects as well. So let's get started. Now I want to make it very clear at the start of the video, I know very extremely little about shaders, so I won't be explaining too much about shaders and the BaseGlShaderProgram. I will be showing you guys the code. I'll be explaining more about the CameraX related stuff, so want to make it very clear at the start of the video. So first I'll just show you guys the output. So I am mirroring my device, so the output might be a little bit laggy, just bear with me over here. So first I'll just give this camera permission while using the app. Okay, and here you can see I'm able to apply this kind of this is called a periodic vignette shader program. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but I have literally copy pasted all this code from the documentation of media 3 effect. As you can see, the middle part, it is expanding as well as it is shrinking. I'm not sure how good that is visible, but you should try this on your own real device. So here you can see I've tried to apply this particular effect on our live camera preview. So I can just click on this take photo button, and it should take this particular photo in this particular fashion, and it displays a toast message as well. Now I can just go to this files app, images, and here you can see this is the captured image. So hopefully you got the point. Now let's see how to do this. So I'm using XML layout, but if you want you can use Jetpack Compose as well, it's up to you. So the first thing is just go to your Gradle scripts, build.gradle.kts, and here you need to add this camera core, camera 2, camera lifecycle, camera view, Android X media 3 effect, as well as libs media 3 effect. Now I am using a version catalog, that's why the version number has to be written in libs.versions.toml. So just go to that particular file, and first you will have to add this camera core, then this camera 2 dependency, then this media 3 effect. At the time of me recording is in alpha, but if it becomes stable by the time you guys watch it, make sure you use the stable version. Then here we have this media 3 effect version as well. Now you also need to add few lines of code. First one is this camera 2, next one is camera core, next is camera view, and last one is camera lifecycle as well. And here you will have to add this Android X media 3 effect dependency as well as media 3 effect dependency. So make sure you add all of this. Then you will see a sync now button. Just to show it to you, I've just changed the version number. Here you can click on sync now, but I'll just change it back to 1.6.1. just click on sync now. It will download the Android dependencies for you. Okay, then you will have to go to manifest, Android manifest.xml, and here you will have to first add this Android hardware camera, then the camera permission, then the write external storage permission as well. Then go to res layout activity underscore main, and here I have just added one preview view which will occupy the entire width and height of the screen. So we are constraining it to all the sides, and then a button as well which is constrained to the bottom of the screen, and the text is take photo, and we have assigned it some ID as well. Then we need to create an assets folder. So according to me, the best way to create an assets folder, don't create it manually, just right click on your project, click on new folder, and click on assets folder, and then just click on finish. I already have it, so I won't create it again. Then it will again do some Gradle syncing, and you should be able to see this assets folder. Then inside that you need to create two files. The first one is this vertex underscore shader underscore copy underscore es2.glsl. now this is the shader code as well as this fragment shader as well. Make sure you name it like this only, because we are referencing this name inside our this periodic vignette shader program as well. If you have knowledge of shaders, if you know what you are doing, then feel free to rename it whatever you feel like. To create this file, you can just right click new and create file, and just give it some name along with the extension of .glsl. okay, so this is the vertex shader. Now again, I am not really expert on this. You can simply pause the video over here, just copy the code. Yeah, I'm not going to go through it, I don't really understand this. Then this is the fragment shader. Again, this is, I don't really understand what we are doing over here. I have just copied all this code from the documentation, so feel free to pause the video and copy all this code. Okay, then you need to create one Java class called periodic shader program. Now some of you wondering why Java, because in the documentation they had created this Java class. Obviously you can convert this Java class to Kotlin, it is possible, but given that it was in the documentation, that's why I'm using Java itself. But yeah, you can use Kotlin as well. So first we need to create this class. Again, I don't really understand all of this. This is kind of like using this BaseGL shader and stitching all those vertex and fragment shader together into an effect. Okay, so first you can copy all these imports, then this is all the code. Again, so here we are referencing the file name. Again, I'm not going to go through it because even I don't understand it. I'll simply scroll through this. There are a lot of comments as well, so this file is not that big, to be honest. But yeah, again, still I'm not going to go through it. Feel free, you can feel free to pause the video and just copy all this code, or maybe you can ask ChatGPT as well to explain it to you. But what I have noticed is that given this stuff is so new, like even ChatGPT is not really good at all this stuff, because there is very little or limited knowledge on the internet as well. This stuff is really difficult, not enough knowledge, so even ChatGPT, I guess, can't really learn much from it. But yeah, it will help you to some extent, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so hopefully you have copied all this code. Pause the video and copied all this code. Okay, then you will have to go to main activity, and again I'll just scroll up. These are all the imports. Again, there are a lot of imports, so feel free to pause the video and just copy all this thing. Okay, then I have annotated this. I don't think this is required. Okay, so you can no, I think yeah, this is required because this media 3 effect, this is still unstable. Now this GL effect, it is not coming from the alpha version of library which we are using. It is coming from this, and this is stable still. The API is a bit unstable. I don't know why. This is one of the quirks of Android development. Hopefully by the time you watch it, they make the API stable and you don't have to annotate with @unstable API. Then here we have this image capture camera executor viewfinder button. Here we have this request multiple permission register for activity result. First we make the boolean as true, then we just loop over all through it, and then make this value as false. If the value is false, then we just display a toast message. If it is true, then we immediately start our camera. Inside on create, we initialize our viewfinder, our button. I don't think this is required. I don't know why I'm using this. I'll just remove this. Why am I using this? Okay, let me just check. Sorry about this. Okay, I don't think this is all required. I was trying to test out something else. Sorry about that. I'll run the application one more time at the end just to see. Okay, so here we are initializing our viewfinder button, and on the click of our button we just call take photo. If all permissions are granted, we just start our camera, else we call request permission. And here we initialize our camera executor. Here is our take photo method, where we first check whether image capture is initialized or not. Then we have this simple date format as well. Then we have this content values dot apply, where we pass the display name mime type, and if user is using above Android P version, then we also need to set the relative path as well. Then here we do image capture dot output file options dot builder, passing in the content resolver, external content URI as well as content values. Then we just do image capture dot take picture, passing our output options. Then we override on error as well as on image saved. So once image is saved, we get the URI of the image. Then we just do camera executor dot shutdown and display a toast message. Then here we have start camera, so we just do use aspect ratio strategy. Then here is our resolution selector as well. Then we just do process camera provider dot get instance of this. Then we just do camera provider future dot add listener. Then here we do camera provider future dot get. Here we do preview view dot builder, set the resolution selector, pass the build method, it dot surface provider equal to viewfinder dot surface provider, image capture dot builder, set the resolution selector, set capture mode as well. Then here we have the default back camera, use case group dot builder, add our preview use case as well as image capture. Then here we define our media 3 effect as well, for which we pass preview, video capture or image capture. Then this is how you set the effect. So here we just use this GL effect, passing here our context. use HDR as boolean, and here we initialize our periodic vignette shader program as well, passing the context, use HDR as true, center X, center Y, minimum radius, maximum radius, and outer radius. Then we just add that media 3 effect to our use case group builder. Then we just unbind our camera, bind it to our life cycle, and this is a method for requesting permission. This is a method which will help us to check whether we have the required permissions or not. And inside on destroy we just destroy our camera executor dot shutdown. So I have just ran the application just to see, because I've removed that flash code, right? So yeah, it seems to be working perfectly fine. I just wanted to check that. Anyways, I'll just stop this, and here we have defined one companion object with the file name, format, as well as the required permission. So yeah, that's it. Again, sorry I couldn't really explain you guys about all this stuff, because even I don't understand. If you have any questions, do let me know in the comments. If you have any suggestions on where can I learn this shaders related stuff, I know there are books related, like Shader Bible, I think, and there is one website, Shader Toy, but I want to understand it more from the Android perspective. The shader codes, again, I get it, like most of the shader code apply to all platforms, there is no difference in platforms, but the way you use it, like I can't just simply write a shader and just use it like apply it to some surface view or something like that, right? You also need to stitch it together. That's my point. That is very difficult to find in Android, even the documentation lacks it. But thankfully I was able to find at least one example. Based on this, maybe you guys can try to find or play around with and how to apply different shaders as well. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.